Hey there, I'm Sir Classy and this is SCtuts. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make Nigerian style of Amapiano beats in FL Studio. If you are new, hit the subscribe button and let's get started. Alright, so before we get started, this tutorial comes with a free drum kit and free MIDI pack. You can get it by simply clicking the link in the description below, and please feel free to join me in my Telegram community where I hold free monthly master classes on how to make beats, how to mix, how to master, record vocals, and so much more that you're going to benefit from. Alright, now let's get started. So we're going to listen to the beat first and see how it sounds. Alright, so that's pretty much the idea of the whole beat. Nothing really else happens aside from this I just played. So we're going to start with the drums. I'm going to select this right here. Come solo mode on the pattern mode right here. So the drums is pretty basic, although I did some layering. This is my kick. This is the percussion. So you can see I layered these sounds. And at interval, I had added this side stick here to create some kind of flavor in the drums. I don't want it to just be too straight or too boring. So these elements here were added at intervals just to make it sound more interesting. So here I drum sounds first. So if I were to turn this off, and I turn this off, and I turn this off, it sounds good, but not as good as when I add. And then I add this again. And then I add this. And next I have it's my shaker. This shaker right here. So if I were to solo this, so that's pretty much how the drums sound. So when it comes to making melodies for your Afrobeat or Afrobeats Amapiano track, is there are certain parts that you need to have that are essential. One is your major chords, that is the chords itself. Secondly, your pluck sounds. Third, a pad. Fourth, an ambient melody. If your beat has these four elements, most times it's already good to go. It's hard to say any beat these days that do not have these four ingredients. So I'm going to show you now. For example, this right here is my main chords. I meant main chords earlier, not major chords, sorry. Main chords. This is my main chords, a kalimba sound. So it's just two chords playing over again. And so next I add my pad right here. Pardon me. So this is just a pad. A pad just helps to add more flesh and more feel to your beats to make it sound a bit fuller. And then here is our pluck sound. Yeah, I use the synth pluck. You can use a kalimba sound or any sound really, but you just need a sound that doesn't sustain long. Hence, that's why it's called a pluck. Really simple, and it follows the chord progression. Then for my ambient melody, I didn't use regular melodies for mine. I used vocal chops instead. So I got this vocal from Looperman, already pitched it so that to sound correct with the progression. And then I added little altar boy to bring the formants down to have a deep voice. And then right here is another vocal. All I did here was mostly reverb, distortion, and delay. I didn't use the little altar boy for this. And if you notice, these vocals are in the ambience. They are not like the main melody. They just help to fill up the space. When I play it back, this is what you hear. Next, here is the piano sound I added for the bounce. This is also a main chord, but is for the chorus section. You can see the hook section right here. So you can see even without the piano sound, the beat already sounded full. This was just to add more vibe or more bounce to the beat. The beat could definitely do without the piano sound. So if I were to play the drums and the melody so far together. Let me take out the piano sound so you can see the difference. So you can see the beat can do without the piano sound, but like I said, I just added it for more bounce. So when you are creating your melodies for Afrobeat, make sure you have these key elements in your beat to help it sound full. And you don't need to play excess melodies, just those elements, have those elements, and most times your beat should be 90% done. All right, now let's move on to how to create bass line. So for my bass elements, and it's going to sound crazy, but I actually use 3 different bass elements at the same time for my bass track. You can see right here I have my 808, this is an 808 section, then I have a regular bass line, then I have a log drum, and log drums usually have a lot of bass in them. So let me solo all of this so you hear how it sounds. You can see how it's all crazy, but at the same time it's so clean. That's because I use sidechaining. I'll break down the sidechaining in a minute. But let's look at the how the 808 is. So I'm going to open this up. All right. So for my 808, I used Hive plugin. There's a preset in there called one bass. So that's what I pretty much use for it. Then next I added a regular bass from it's an FL Studio plugin called, I think, SimSynth. SimSynth. So I like the bass lines there, so I use it a lot for my beats. Alright, then next is my log drum. So let's look at the log drum and see what goes on here. Now the Amapiano sound, the log drum is a very essential element. So let's see. So let me maximize this because there's a lot, it seems like it's a lot going on. So if I would solo this, I basically follow my chord progression to get this thing done. And let me play my drum so that I'm going to solo my drums and the 808. Then let's listen again. If you see, I kind of use the Amapiano, that is the log drum, to fill up the space left open by the drums. usually with log drums, I just try to fill up space left open by a drum, so you don't have to go overly crazy. I keep it as simple as possible while filling up the space left by my drums. Then, if I put it all together to avoid clash, let me walk you through the sidechain. I know the sidechain can get a little confusing. So I sidechain my 808s with my bass. That is, whenever my bass is playing, it docks when the 808 starts playing. Let me show you, for example. This is my 808 and my bass. So I'm going to open up the sidechain. The sidechain is on my so you can see it's docking. Then for my log drum, I actually sidechain my log drum, and I group these two bass elements, so that is the 808 and the bass line, into a bars output. Then I sidechain the log drum to the bars output. Yes, that's a lot of sidechain going on. So if I were to, let me turn it on so that you see. Then if I open up the bars outputs, so anytime the log drum comes in, all the other bass elements dock down. So it keeps it really clean. There was absolutely no need for me to do this. This is just a creative process. I do not even advise anybody to have this much bass elements going on at once in the track, unless you can really control it. So that was just how I was able to control that element there for my bass. So let's listen to it together in the beats. When it comes to creating transitions for your tracks, you may not always need to use a regular drum roll. So, for example, right here, I used a reverse cymbal. This is a cymbal. It's reversed. So, then this is a crash, and then this is a clap with loads of reverb. I didn't add any effects. This was just in the pack I used it from. So when I play it up, and then you can see I also created space here. This to also help build anticipation. So sometimes you don't really need to play a regular drum roll. And then, like after every 8 bars, or rather after every 4 bars in this beat, something comes in this place right here. It's a percussive sound, just to let you know that something else is also happening, just to keep it interesting for the listener. Then the place where I knew I actually use something like a drum roll was this snare roll right here. So let me open it so you see it here. So you can see I did this to make it sound like as if it's about rolling up, to simulate the hand movement. If you've ever played drums before, there's a way the hand can help build anticipation by how much force you use to beat the drums, just to make it sound interesting. And that was pretty much it for the drum rolls. So for every 8 bars, I kept switching it up. For every 4 bars, I just added a percussion sound, something easy. Then when the hook is about to transition into the verse, then you hear something like this. And then when the second verse is about to transition into the chorus. So that was just what I just used the transitions for. So the drum rolls were not crazy, just really simple, not to take too much attention away from the beats, at the same time to help build interest also in the different parts that kept coming in and going out of the beat. So while I was building up the song structure, I wanted to get audience hooked from the very beginning as soon as they hear the beats. And that's what I try to do in most of the intros of my beats. So with the log drum, I used the log drum to steal attention by making it sound very interesting. So in your beat, maybe you can use a very catchy melody to get attention. So since it was going to be about 8 bars, I needed to make sure that whatever I used was really good to keep attention. Then the first verse was just 8 bars. Then the first hook was also 8 bars. 'Cause I wanted after the sweet intro, let's get to the hook ASAP. I didn't want to make the verse too long, so we got straight into the hook after 8 bars, and then after the hook, we went into the second verse, and all of this happened in less than a minute. You can see this is just 48 seconds from you're already hooked into the song in less than a minute. This is the intro, this is the verse, this is the first hook. You've already gotten used to the song already in less than a minute. And so we have a whole 2 minutes plus over here that you need to get used to. So the first minute already drew you in, made you feel interested in the song. That's when the artist actually lays hints or vocals on it. Then here we have a second verse, still another 8 bars. Then we have a pre-chorus this time. Then we have a main chorus that is 16 bars and a pre-chorus that is 8 bars. So it's going to be a very catchy and vibey song. So the pre-chorus is always going to repeat here and here, and then the hook that was said here is going to be extended here as well. And then this final hook here is also like an outro, so that is can be a bit more playful, a bit more relaxed, or sound a little bit different at the final hook or outro. So it also has a pre-chorus. So this song basically has 3 verses, 3 hooks, 2 pre-chorus, and 1 intro. No main outro per se, but the final hook sounds kind of like an outro. So when structuring your beat, you need to make sure that you get the audience or the artist or the listener, the final listener, hooked as soon as you can. You don't want to save the sweetest part for later. Bring the sweetest part closer to the beginning as soon as you can. All right. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to leave us with a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so that people that need this video can easily find it right here on YouTube. And also feel free to check out more of my videos that will help you level up your music making skills. Cheers.